Previously on Disco Elysium.
Every school of thought and government has failed in the city, but I love it nonetheless. It belongs to me as much as it belongs to you.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
Yeah, man! Don't be crazy! Inanimate objects and dead people can't really talk to you! Your wild imagination is doing this. Ask some more of those questions you love so much.
How may I assist you?
Should I call my place or his place? You know what? I'm sure they'll be so proud of me. I'm actually doing my job.
10-4, come in, officer. Over.
Okay, never mind.
10-10, over and out.
This is Precinct 57.
Alice, could you run a serial number for me?
Sir, officer. What's the number? And the make of the armor, if you know it.
This one.
Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by then.
Tomorrow? You guys were supposed to be efficient.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isolari law enforcement service, the crown jewel in the moral intern diadem, alongside EPIS and the coalition government.
57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering.
Well, now what do we do? Notebook. Notebook. Hey. Gotta wait up for a day. Ask him about the case. Oh, right. What can you tell me about the case, Kim?
Yes?
Let's get to know you, Kim.
I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation.
We'll work better together. We like each other.
That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation, what do you want to know?
You don't like other people around here, huh?
Because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic.
I think it's pretty
It's
interesting.
a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting.
It's kind of interesting.
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolari state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious.
Ooh. You're only making it sound
You're
uninteresting.
barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents, and I've never been to Seoul. I'm a regular Revacholière.
Okay, I can understand that. Tell me a secret about yourself.
No.
Okay.
The lieutenant nods.
You're wearing
That's
glasses.
correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
Glasses are cool.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome.
You could use a good, normal pair yourself.
That's all for now.
Let's change the subject. What do you want to know?
Literally anything.
Ah, yes. The case brief you missed. Now I remember.
Brief, yes, of course.
3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate.
Why did it take 4 days for you to call someone?
During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute. A security guard or worker of some sort, hired by Wild Pines. This was just hearsay from Martinez, of course. We need to find out the truth.
Why don't we know anything
They
about the
didn't
caller?
identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's age nor sex.
Was it
There is
me?
a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez.
Alright, don't we have to
Now it
talk to the
appears they
union
started executing too. We cannot allow that.
to get help with the body? Of course. I understand everything now.
Just to be clear, we are police officers. It's our job to find the killer. That's the case. Uncover and arrest the killer.
Of course. Gonna go on the list
Old call box
and
with
press
lyrics.
random buttons.
You hear the same waiting room music, but no one picks. You ring the doorbell. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone's hair. All you hear is static, but no one answers the call. You ring the doorbell, but nothing happens. You wait for a minute or two, but all you get from looks like someone has melted half the plastic. You hear static from the intercom speaker. It sounds as if...
Hello, is anyone there?
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric. Have you come to place an order?
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. A receiver must not be working properly.
Yes, I've come to place an order.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanges a look with you.
Sorry?
It's you. My God. I didn't think I would hear your voice.
Okay.
It's a woman, and she knows you.
Oh no.
No, something's wrong here. Are you sure she's talking to you?
Do we know each other?
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care.
Of course I care, baby. It's just that I've been going through some tough times and I just needed some space.
Ever since I came to work here, it's been different. As if my mind's been wiped clean.
A spot of static overrides her words. When she speaks again, it sounds like she's submerged.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally meet again.
Forget about what?
She sounds like she's about to cry.
Oh God, please don't cry.
She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay.
It's okay. No one ever wants to talk to me.
Another seagull passes by. It's getting...
It must have been some kind of faulty wiring. We should maybe stop playing with this doorbell. It looks ancient.
Alright, goodbye.
The number sign on the keypad.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
Hi.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
What kind of store is this?
Bookstore, sir. We sell books.
I mean, I got that.
And some board
I wanted to know what books he was selling.
crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
That is a book. They have stories inside them. It's like someone told you a story in a really long letter. A postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved.
She is unfazed by your questions. She would consider it impolite to point out any perceived weirdness.
What's a board game?
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but sailors here mostly buy cards.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know?
Can I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
Okay, I'll see you around. Is this the store or the store? Do I pay you? Hi.
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance.
Well, hello there,
Be
Plaisance.
welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
Are you the owner of the store?
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
She has fine-tuned her voice to find the most welcoming approach for attracting new customers. It doesn't work.
Who's the little girl?
Yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl?
She was doing a fantastic job.
Wonderful. Did you talk to her?
I did.
Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
Her opinion of her daughter depends on how well she lured you into the store.
Oh, 10. She's certainly very playful and helpful.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette.
She's a great value to have.
As a young girl should be, with the proper attitude, she'll have a bright financial future.
Okay,
The
let's
woman
talk about something
before you
else.
scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense.
What if I want to buy a book?
Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse.
She
Okay,
smiles
go to
and
hell.
nods. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium, 2nd edition. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Catawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and books in a board game section. Who wants to read books?
Anything that catches my eye?
There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real.
Well, no, I want this. But I only have 6 real. Oh, I didn't know this game would be so realistic.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
Hey, Joyce.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
Shake her
I'm
hand.
glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Kim. I love you too.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. The lieutenant is hatching some scheme.
Oh no. He's gonna stab me in the back.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
You're on a boat.
Why, yes I am.
Not a lot of people on boats, are
Of course
there?
there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Wait, we're on an archipelago?
We are. We are on Le Caillou.
Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat
I
around
haven't
here.
seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Touche, Joyce, touche.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
Does he have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cor-de-Joyce 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
Your boat really needs a name.
Okay. How about Cor-de-Joyce 19? Why? Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cor-de-Joyce, and its hull is 19 paces long.
How about Dolores?
Why Dolores?
Feels pretty.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
How do you like it?
Sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this.
Okay.
It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Calm down, Kim. I'm buttering her up.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Do you have a license for this boat?
Sir, I assure you, I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
Alright, just double checking.
Crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
Good enough for me.
Why wouldn't it be? This is Revachol, Wayfair Act and all. Anyone can drive a boat.
Alright, I think I have a handle on your boat. Like, now to get into the real questions. Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
What do they
The
do?
Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
You're in good company,
Why,
it
thank
seems.
you.
Tell me something else. Fucking tell me about this strike.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
What's your role in
I
this?
believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Tell me about this behemoth.
What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to Garmont?
Mr. Clare told him to, how did he put it? fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Okay then.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
What are the demands?
Leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Every worker, a member of the board.
I don't know what to think about that.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
What are you going to do about it?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Tell me about Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Is he that
He
bad?
is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over.
Convenient.
It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
How do I say what?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Prefer not to have an opinion on these things.
Of course, officer.
I don't have the memory to know what's going on.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Was I just talking to her?
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Some kind of extortion?
Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Alright, let's change the
Of
topic.
course. How else can I help?
What can you tell me about this
Quite a
lynching?
few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57.
There's one big problem with that.
And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
I'm not a very good detective.
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
What if I'm faking it and I don't even know I'm faking it?
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course.
At least I think I am.
But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Okay.
Hang on.
I'll
She's
find
a
it sometime.
Negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
How do I negotiate my way out of this?
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
I don't have a gun either, if that's what you're asking.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones.
Looks like I got another case.
You can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
No, I'll find it.
A word in private before we continue.
Okay. Have a nice day, Joyce.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
How'd you hope it would
I
go?
was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman.
I thought it was going well.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
I guess we could just find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large, and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
It's probably in my room somewhere.
You could request a new one from your station.
I
That
did.
would literally take months.
They laughed at me. Do you want us to not investigate drugs?
If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
Joyce.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Tell me about this
Quite
trafficking.
straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes, after they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
I'm going to need bolt cutters for this.
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they may be vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic
Maybe
jam
Tommy
at the
knows.
roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Alright.
Of course, Detective.
See you later, Joyce. Let's go talk to Tommy. Maybe he's doing the drugs. He does seem like a drug person.